We're live. So we'll just wait for a couple people to come in. You might not see the chat. Sometimes when I'm a guest on people's channels, I can't see the chat. So if a question or something comes up, I'll just read it to you.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it says I'm now live on my channel.
All right, we'll wait for a few people to come in.
It takes a while for the notification to go out too, to let everybody know. I'm going to post something on my IG. Hey, Zach, how are you? What are you up to today? Are you still there? Oh, nice. Yeah, it's my day off too. Thanks for coming. This is Dave. He wrote this book right here. And so he's going to talk a little bit about it today. So hopefully you can stay and hang out. Hey, Steve, how are you? Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you for dropping in. I hope you have a good day at work. Make sure you come back and watch it, though. We're going to be talking about this book right here. This is Dave. He wrote it. That's okay, Zach. I'm going to share this out. Okay, thank you, Steve. Well, I guess we could just start.
Yeah.
You too, Steve. So why don't you tell everybody about yourself, your name, where you're from?
Okay, my name is Dave. I am currently 47. Yeah, 47. We are basically on here today to try to get some awareness out for a very rare cancer called penile. Yes, you heard it correctly, penile. It is cancer that targets the penis area. It is extremely rare. To my knowledge, I am the only one in the state of Delaware that has it. There may be a few others. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one, but I'm still kind of researching that. But yeah, we're just here to kind of talk about penile cancer. So if anybody has any questions, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. That's pretty much it.
When were you diagnosed?
I was actually diagnosed February 27th of 2019. symptoms, which again, this thing is so rare they really don't know what the symptoms are. But everything started health wise around September of 2018. I was being treated for a inflamed prostate and a UTI. It took them nearly 6 months to actually figure out what was going on and finally diagnose me.
So what kind of things were they doing during that time to try and figure out what was going on? You just had to go in and get tests done. You had to talk to doctors, blood work.
Yeah, so there's a lot of blood work, urine test. Um, that's basically what they were doing because everything came back as inflamed prostate and a UTI. That's the only thing the results were coming back. Um, it started out as an inflamed prostate. It did, and then later on down the road, the urination kind of became not a steady stream. It was weak. Then from there, it became the penis became very sensitive to touch. Uh, the urine ended up becoming like I guess you can say like fire coming out, so to speak. From there, it turned into like a razor blade feeling. So in 2000, was it February the 11th of 2019? The urologist I was seeing was doing a cystoscopy on me. So during this time, I developed a little sore on the underneath of my penis. It was just a little red. I chalked it up to basically rub it against the boxers. So everything we were doing wasn't taking the sore away. So she figured while we're under, let's biopsy this sore just to see, what the hell is going on. Probably nothing. And then, almost 3 weeks later, it came back as cancer.
So they just called you in to the appointment. You had a follow-up appointment for the test for them
Well,
to tell you that you had cancer.
well, yeah, I had a follow-up appointment, but I went in early because I had a catheter in from the cystoscopy that I had. So I was bleeding, and it's called blood spasms. So I was very worried about what was going on. So I went in a few days early to see the urologist to see why I was bleeding. So she just told me the results while I was there.
So then what was your first thing that you had to do after you were diagnosed?
Um, she gave me a business card to call a urologist at Temple Hospital in Philadelphia. Um, so that was the first thing I had to do. Well, I had to get my bearings together because I had to drive home. um,
Right.
I had to call my wife, let her know what was going on because she knew I was going to the urologist. So that was something very hard to do. Um, Went back and forth to Philadelphia to get some results to figure out what's going on. They checked over all the PET scans. End up going to University of Maryland just for a second opinion. They said the same exact thing. What had to happen, go on, what had to happen. Then once we got all the answers that we needed, we sat down and told my daughters. Once they knew, we pretty much told the family and put it out, created a Facebook page really so everybody knew what was going on for the family. Um, Everybody's on the same page, and then we went full force and tackled it.
So how did the book start?
The book actually started. My wife's cousin is an author out of New York, and he was touching base with me, seeing how I was doing. And then one day he just said, "Hey, man, this crap is really extremely rare. Why don't we write a book about it?" And I'm like, "Dude, I know nothing about writing a book." And
What's
he
his
said,
name?
"His name is Cliff, Cliff Fuzzalari." So he's like, "Look, he's like, I wrote 15 books already. All I need you to do is take the notes, and I'll take care of the rest." So we started writing a book. I was giving him the notes. We went back and forth for about a year and a half, and it got released the end of October of 2021.
Was this stuff that you started writing like because in the book there's times where you couldn't sleep and you were up at night? Were those times that you were making those night notes and writing your thoughts and feelings and stuff down?
I've always wrote down notes. It was just a way of me dealing with things, especially through depression. I went through a lot of depression, which is mentioned in the book. And I've always said, and people thought I was stupid, but I've always said I write because the paper would never judge me. It would just listen to what I have to say. It will not talk back to me. So I've always wrote, rather it was a song form, poem form, or just thoughts that came out of my head. A lot of it was very vivid, very dark. I've actually wrote suicide notes, um, the whole 9 yards. So writing is kind of accustomed to me. It's not a problem. So I already had it in the process. All I had to do was give it to him so he could actually put it in the correct format.
Right. How did your family feel when you started talking about writing a book?
Um, Excited. Um, just didn't know how it was going to turn out. Didn't know people would be interested in it. For most part, men don't want to hear about what's going on. Um, but women were very interested. But I keep telling people it doesn't matter if we're straight or bi or gay or whatever. We all have partners, and we cannot see every part of our bodies, but our partners can. Um, so that was the purpose of getting the book out and telling people to bring the awareness.
Right. And to not like to let men know to be more on top of, because I know in my experience, a lot of men do not like going to the doctor. They don't go for annual checkups. They don't, if you're not feeling something wrong or whatever, you just ignore it. But
Yeah,
I mean, I
yeah,
feel like this could kind of help men to know that just because you're not having signs or symptoms doesn't mean that there couldn't be anything wrong, and that early detection and going into your doctor annually is really important to stay ahead of stuff like this.
yeah, correct. I mean, women, they go to the doctors every year to get a mammogram done, to get their breast checked out, to make sure everything's good. To make sure there's no lumps or anything like that. Um, Men need to do the same thing because, like I said, mine. I didn't have any kind of lumps on me. I just had a little tiny red dot. It was almost like raw skin, kind of. Um, and again, it's something that you just happen from rubbing against your boxers. It could happen that way. But if I wasn't so stubborn and I would have went to the doctors earlier, maybe it could have been caught earlier instead of going through what I had to go through.
Right. So maybe getting in a little bit earlier when you notice something, instead of thinking it might not be anything, get it checked out. That way, maybe your course of treatment would have gone a little differently. Maybe it wouldn't have been as invasive.
Possible. Yep. Absolutely.
Hey, wicked awesome lifestyles. How are you guys? Thanks for joining. This is Dave. He wrote this book, Life Isn't Always Beautiful. It's about penile cancer and his getting diagnosed and going through treatment and just his story. And we're trying to bring awareness because it is a very rare form of cancer. So he's here to share his story and talk about his book.
Yeah, so if anybody has any questions, please, let us know. I'll answer any question. I am not ashamed about it. Again, we're just trying to bring awareness to it.
And after the video goes live, you guys can leave questions in the comments as well. And I will make sure that Dave is aware of the questions so that he can maybe come and comment a response on the questions on the video. So Erica said, "Hi, Dave. It's Erica. Nice to meet you."
Yeah, I can see the comments. Hello, Erica. I just
Oh,
can't
you
respond
can?
to them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just can't respond to them, but I can see them. But really, one thing, I was going to bring this up later on as we're going through the questions, but with penile cancer, there's really not much treatment that can be done. You can have chemo and stuff like that, of course, but typically it's so rare that by the time they diagnose you with it, most of the men either end up dying or they have to have a full penectomy done. In my case, they caught it somewhat in time, so I had to get a partial penectomy done. So when you tell guys that you had a portion of your penis removed, they just like to cringe. But this is something serious, and again, men are stupid. We are by nature, we are absolutely stupid. We don't go to doctors for nothing, and it is very important. If you feel the slightest something is wrong, if you have a discoloration, go get checked. The only thing they know for a fact with penile cancer is that every study showed that men who has not been circumcised or have a skin condition called lichen sclerosis, they are the two things that are linked to penile cancer. Now, with mine, I had the skin disorder. If nobody knows what that is, it's basically when your skin kind of gets dry and peels. Like if you've ever been outside in the cold, how your hands get kind of like cracky.
Oh
It's
yeah.
that's kind of like what it is. And you can bleed a little bit. Um, but again, as men, we don't go around comparing our penises with other men, saying, "Oh, hey, does yours look like this?" We don't do that. So that's something that men need to be on the lookout for.
Right.
And there's a lot of men who's not circumcised, and that is one of the main leads of penile cancer.
That was a really tough. I mean, well, it wasn't really a tough decision for me with Junior when it came to getting circumcised, but that was something that I kind of weighed the benefits and the side effects to doing it and not doing it. And I felt like having him circumcised was the right way to go because the way that they talk about how you have to care for your penis if you're not circumcised and keeping yourself clean, and there's like a lot to care if you don't. And I felt like I didn't want to put that kind of pressure on him as a baby, because as they're growing up and they have to start taking care of themselves, you have to teach them how to properly do that. And if you don't
Right.
know anybody that has that kind of information, how are you going to do it? And I would have never known that this is something that could come of not getting him circumcised.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, again, it is so rare. When babies are born, male, the doctor doesn't tell you, oh, hey, this could possibly happen, 20, 30, 40 years down the road. They don't know. But as they're doing more and more studies, that's what they're realizing. Now, in the United States, there's really nobody doing any studies. So I'm getting all my information from the UK, because that's where your leading causes are, is the United Kingdom and Africa. That's your two leading causes of where it's at. So there's actually a organization in the UK called Orchid, and I've been in touch with the people running that. I've been talking to them, kind of giving them information that I've experienced, and so we can go back and forth and get some more information.
Right. So, I mean, what is your goal with this book? Like
My goal
in the
is just
grand scheme of things, what are you
um,
hoping that comes from writing this book?
I'm just hoping it gets out to as many people as possible. It's not about the sales, it's not about the money at all. It's about bringing awareness. The more people that understand it and do their research on it, they can know if things are happening. Um, the awareness, that's the number one thing that we're trying to accomplish.
Erica asked,
Yes, I am cancer free.
um, this is a really good book, you guys. You can get it on Amazon and it's a really easy read. I literally read this in 2 days. Um, it touches on a lot of things. It touches on his journey, about things that he went through, his family, his kids, and getting through it, and so like you still have to stay on top of this, right? You still have to go in every year or every 6 months or
Yeah, I mean, I get PET scans done every 6 months, just to make sure things are going okay. So I want to back up a little bit. So I had 5 surgeries done altogether. 3 surgeries were back to back to back. So I was diagnosed February 27, 2019. April 2nd, of 2019, I had my first surgery done. That was the partial penectomy. So basically what they did was they looked at the scans and figured out where the cancer was, and they would cut to get enough margin so the cancer wasn't there anymore.
And what's a margin?
A margin is basically, they say, okay, here's the cancer, so we need to cut down an extra however many centimeters, whatever they go by, millimeters or whatever. The way the cancer is not there and it can't spread. So after I had that first surgery, we did our scans, and either the cancer was so aggressive that it spread between that scan and when I had my surgery done, because it was still there. So my second surgery we did was June. It was June of 2019. Then we did frozen biopsies. So basically what they did was they kept cutting and cutting and cutting until they finally had clear margins. And at that point, they considered it not cancer-free, but they knew there was no cancer in the penis anymore. So then my third surgery was in July, which was kind of what they consider quote unquote reconstruction. That was basically trying to create a penis out of whatever you had left, so to speak, to make it look somewhat normal.
Right.
So then July the following year, I had my next scan done, and the cancer came back in my lymph nodes. So I had to have 17 lymph nodes removed out of my left leg, and then 10 lymph nodes removed out of my right leg.
And what are lymph nodes exactly?
That is basically the filter of your body. So everything that goes through your body, it filters through your lymph nodes, all the fluids, and it kind of keeps your body going. So it's very important to have your lymph nodes. And cancer attacks the lymph nodes. So if it hits your lymph nodes, the more lymph nodes it hits, the less likely you are to survive.
Okay.
So, but I know you mentioned the book real quick, but it is on Amazon. But if anybody is interested, I do have copies as well that I can mail out. And for anybody who does it today, I will cover shipping on it. So they are $15, but I will cover the shipping. And mine are signed. Not that that's a big deal or anything, but they are the same price on Amazon, but I'll cover the shipping. Just let Renee know or anything, or send me an email. That way I can get it out to you and get the information.
What's your email?
Dave024@comcast.net.
I'm not going to put the @ symbol because sometimes YouTube likes to remove the comments.
So the book doesn't. So when we were writing the book, we realized that the cancer part of it was only going to be a couple chapters long, and we had to figure out something else to do. So that's basically when my whole backstory came in about my depression and all that kind of stuff, and that's how we got the family involved, to see how their feelings on it, because we had to make a book out of it. So it turned into a, I guess, a love story, as well, as a rare cancer survivor story. And again, we're just trying to get the awareness out there as much as possible.
So, do you have any plans on like trying to maybe help try and find places that will do research on this in the United States to make it more, like breast cancer has a lot of people that donate to it and research it and all of that. Like,
yeah, I mean,
how would you bring that here?
I'm reaching out to anybody and everybody that would listen. I've reached out to news stations in the state of Delaware, with no response back. That was about a month ago. I did get response back from one gentleman. I'm meeting with him next week, from the news station. We're going to be doing an article. I talked to the cancer support community of Delaware. I did a podcast with them. But after that, it was kind of like it was over. I do have a case manager that I'm working with. We're trying to figure out what we can do. Not to start a foundation, but see if we can get in touch with anybody to figure that out. We're trying to work with the insurance companies, because the insurance companies, they cover the initial surgeries, but they will not cover any kind of reconstruction. they consider it cosmetic. So, in other words, when a girl has breast cancer, she can get her boobs replaced and insurance will cover it at 100% or whatever, to where men cannot get a penis replacement because it's considered quote unquote cosmetic.
Wouldn't a breast implants,
You would
wouldn't that
think,
be cosmetic too?
you would think, but for whatever reason, it's covered, and men, it's not. So we are trying to work with them, to get that covered.
Right.
So that's another goal of mine to work with those insurance companies.
There's got to be something out. What about going to like the universities? Like I know UW Medical Center. Um, I know a lot of people will take things to them that they can do research on. So what about like the universities and stuff like that, and having them maybe have some programs?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked that far yet. With working and everything else, you only got so much time in the day.
Right.
But yeah, that is, I do have that on my list of things to do. They're my next people I'll be reaching out to.
So what was the hardest part of the book to write for you?
Um, it really wasn't hard. It just kind of came natural. I mean, like I said, I was writing everything down anyway. Um, so it really wasn't hard.
There wasn't any part of the book that was like really emotional for you?
Well, I mean, emotional, there's a lot of parts.
Right.
You when you talk about, you think your spouse may leave you because of what you're going through. We've been together for 20, well, we've been together for 30 years. So at this point, 27 and a half years or whatever, it's hard to think that your spouse would leave you because of what happened. But it's natural to think that way.
Right.
That was hard to write. Um, Everything else, like I said, just kind of became pretty natural. But there's a lot of emotional parts. I still have not read the book yet. um,
You haven't read it yet?
I have not. I refuse to, because when I was reading the transcripts to go through editing, I couldn't get through it because it brought back so many painful memories. I just couldn't get through it.
Do you think you ever will read it?
Honestly, I don't know. I really don't. We'll see.
You, yeah. It's a good book, Dave. It's a good book. It really is.
Appreciate it.
And so, how has writing the book and going through all of this changed your relationship or strengthened your relationship with Carol and your kids?
It's really got my relationship a lot better, a lot stronger. Um, as I mentioned in the book, and there's some sections that I was very insecure in my marriage for a very long time. When me and my wife first met, back in 1991, she weighed probably 120 pounds soaking wet. I was about 350, 355, somewhere in that area. um, I've always been a heavy guy. So I'm always like, why is this gorgeous woman, want to be with a fat, ugly guy like me? Um, so I've always had insecurity issues. She's going to leave me at some point. My wife's gorgeous. But then when this happened, you would think I'll be more insecure. But then you realize there's more important things in life. You realize, hey, if she's going to leave, she's going to leave. There's nothing I can do about it. So you let this small stuff just roll off your shoulder, and you don't think about things like that. Because if you do, it drives you crazy. And I wasted a lot of my life, being insecure.
Right. Well, reading the book, I can tell you had a lot of love and support around you. And I feel like um, your wife is a for sure winner. You know what I mean? Like, I am sure that it couldn't have been easy to be as strong as she was because, even in times where I'm getting stressed out or feeling overwhelmed, and I mean, I'm internalizing how I feel, but I'm trying to be strong on the outside, because I feel like as women, we kind of feel like that's what we have to do. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm sure that if the tables were turned, you would have done the same thing for her. And
Oh,
that's what makes
absolutely.
it so beautiful. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
See you, Erica.
All right.
Thank you
Sounds
for
good. Thank
coming.
you, Erica.
So I wanted to give away one of the books.
Okay.
But there's not a lot of people in here. So what I'm thinking is once we post the video, I can figure out something for people to put in the comments, and do like a random comment generator type thing, or put everybody's names in a like a wheel thing and spin it and see who wins to be able to send them a book. So for anybody that watches this, not in the chat right now, but come back and comment on the video and just say something with the title of the book. Life isn't always beautiful. So try and be a little creative with your comments and leave it in the comments, something that incorporates the title of the book. And whoever does that, I'll write your names down and I'll put them in the little spinner. And then whoever comes up will win a free copy of the book. And that way, sorry guys, that way you can read it and I would love to hear your feedback. But again, guys, you can get it on Amazon. It's only $15. It's a really good read. It's, you know, for me, sometimes it's difficult to read books, especially, I don't know. I think it's just the way my brain processes things. But this was really easy to read. It was very easy to understand. It takes you in. Like I read it in 2 days, and that's only because I had to work and I had to sleep. Otherwise, I probably would have finished it quicker. But I think that you guys should check it out, you know, and give it a chance. And I hope you guys will share this video out so that hopefully we could get some awareness out there, and maybe more people will read the book and hear the story, and more people will start talking about penile cancer and help people who might be getting ready to go through this struggle, are going through this struggle, have been through this struggle. So I don't know. Is there anything else you want to tell everybody, Dave?
No. If I talk too much, then it gives the book away.
Right. Yeah. And that's kind of
um.
like, I don't want to talk too much about like what's in here, because I want them to want to read it to hear the story.
Yeah. I mean, if anybody has any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. But you know, as far as giving the book away, I think we should probably go like, let's say 24 hours. So say 6:30 tomorrow.
We could do that.
You know, and then again, whoever doesn't win, they can just email me, which is in the comments somewhere, davo24@comcast.net.
I'll put it
We,
in the comments on the video too.
yeah, we can always make arrangements. So yeah, other than that, I mean, I really don't have much unless you got any more questions, or if anybody in the room has any questions.
How's it going, Amanda? How are you, Leanna?
Yeah, I can't see how many people you got in here, so it's kind of quiet.
There's one in here now.
Uh-oh.
That's what it says on there, is one.
Oh.
Oh, but there's two. Leanna's here and Amanda's here. I don't know why it only says one.
Well, hopefully we'll get more viewers as it posts, and people start sharing it out, you know, to help bring the awareness to this.
All right. Well, I know it's later there. Well, it's only 6:30 there right now.
Yeah, that's it.
It's early. Well, thank you for coming on
Not
to
a
my
problem. Thank
channel.
you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And anytime that you want to do this again, maybe, you know, do a check back, you know, in a few months or something like that. if, how your journey's going. Maybe you'll write another book.
Well, the only way I'm writing another book if there's a sequel, if it comes back. So hopefully I'm not writing another book.
Right. So this didn't like start something in you as far as writing?
No, like I said, I've always been some kind of a writer. But as far as writing books, no. But we just had to get this out there. We knew that the awareness had to be told, and we knew we had to get it out there, and that's why we wrote it.
Right. Well, I'm glad that I was able to get my hands on a copy. I
Thank
really
you.
enjoyed it. And thank you for sharing your story with
Thank you.
everybody. And hopefully it can help somebody somewhere.
If it helps one person, then that's wonderful.
Right. All right. Well, I will let you go then.
All right.
Make sure you guys leave in the comments something to the effect of life isn't always beautiful. Leave in a sentence format, and I will pick a winner tomorrow. I hope you guys all have an amazing morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever time you're watching this. Thank you guys that came in and said hi. I appreciate y'all being here. I'm sure Dave appreciates you being here as well. If you guys
Absolutely.
have any questions or concerns, or you need any info, whatever it might be, you can leave a comment. You can DM me on Instagram. You can email Dave. If you know what I mean? Like anything that you send to me, I will make sure that he gets it so that he can answer any questions. So I guess that's it.
Yeah, and just please, please, please share out the video, word of mouth. Tell your family, tell your friends, boyfriend, husband, girlfriend, whatever. Spread the word of the awareness. We got to get it out there. It's extremely rare. I mean, 13,000 men in the United States each year. You might as well play the lottery. You got a better chance.
Right.
That's how rare it is. So the more we spread the word, the more people are aware of it, the more we can get ourselves checked faster and get a handle on it.
Tell your men's that they need to go get their annuals just like we do.
Exactly.
Early detection is key, not just for breast cancer, but for all kinds of cancers. It's
100%.
important.
100%.
All right. Well, thanks for hanging out with me today.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right.
Bye-bye.
See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.